So, one of the things that is true of other games but is often ignored is the necessary storyteller preparation. It is casually encouraged in most games, but never explicitly required or stated that the storyteller set up a world, a setting, a place where words can mean. In Words of Power, we require this. I'm not going to provide any kind of index or chart or definitive lore for the world. It will be up to each game master, each person who wants to tell a story, run a game, to decide what the factions and races and moving parts of their own game world is. It's for two reasons. One, I want the storyteller to tell the story they want to tell, not filtered through the lens of whatever I had in mind. Two, it means that you balance your own races the way that you think they should be. Your orcs can be different from my orcs, and that's totally fine. That's what I want. I want your orcs to exist. So, before anyone can make a character, it is necessary for the storyteller to have a world in mind and be like, these are the factions you can be, this is what they mean, and by giving them tags, which is pretty much what it consists of, you are communicating directly to your players what that faction is. So, in the example of our Season 1 playtest, we had the Nesbereths and the Beastmen. And they had certain tags that described the faction as a whole rather than races or individual things, right? If you were in Nesbereth, this was true of you culturally. This was a thing that was true of you. That's why they're your starting tags. So the storyteller needs to do that. They should lay out a brief, like, this is the state of the world, these are the kinds of creatures you might encounter. In the case of our playtest, it was demons. And there was a whole lore about how demons bred into being beastmen. But in your world, it might be robots. It might be aliens. It might be totally human, current day, stuff like that. So it is important for the storyteller to have a story to tell, know what the setting looks like, and list out the moving parts so that your players can engage with your lore and not just gloss over it. And the tags make it very easy to do that. So once we have all that together, the players can finally start making their characters. Making characters in Words of Power is extremely simple. We have tags and we have words. Tags are things that you are: large, small, stealthy, strong, undead, ancient, ageless, dumb. And these words will be applied anytime that you want to do a skill check. They might be used to filter out certain effects, like in Dungeons and Dragons, elves are immune to mind-influencing effects. So the same thing in this sense is if you were tagged with such a thing, certain things won't affect you, and that's up to the game master. So generally, your character is going to start with 2 tags from their faction or race, and then you additionally choose 3 tags and 3 words. Tags are things that you are, words are things that you do. So in the classic example, we've got Snazzle. He's got the tags charismatic, cheater, and musician. So if there's a situation where he can cheat, the roleplay of that character is that he will cheat, because he's a cheater. And he'll get a bonus to doing that, because he has that tag, just as though he had played a word. Tags can't do magic, but they help you in every other instance that they might come up. So words can do magic. These are things that you do: slash, steal, teleport, summon. Go as big as you want to play the character that you have in mind. And because it's a role-playing game, it's going to be fine. So if you have words like summon and monster, you can use those with words you'll draw later from the deck to play magical effects. So if you're an archer and you always want to have access to magical arrows, for example, one of your words might be arrow, and another one might be shoot or volley. And this will make sure that you have consistent access to the kinds of abilities that you want. So you get 3 tags, 3 words, and 2 tags from your faction. Beyond that, it's very open. You list whatever items you want to make sure that you have access to. In Snazzle's case, he's got a harp, an empty glass vial, and a cloak, because those are things he might want to use in the field. Don't go crazy. You can't carry, 50 crossbows, but carry 1. So after you choose your generic kind of adventuring items, you'll choose a weapon and armor. Weapons are categorized into sizes to keep it very simple. They have a hit die and a damage die. The hit die is your accuracy, the damage die is how much damage you do. So a short bow might have 1d6 hit die, which means you'll roll a d6 to attack. And a long bow might have a d8, which makes it less accurate, but the damage die will be high. And your storyteller might list out specific items and which category they fall into to give you inspiration to choose. If your race has a specific kind of weapon that is unique to the setting, you might say, okay, this is a small weapon. It's a one-handed weapon. It's a two-handed weapon. And in that way, it's very easy to figure out how much damage and how accurate something is going to be based on its stats. So, moving on, we move on to armor. And armor is the thing that stands between you and death. So in the example with Snazzle, we've got leather 3. That means that each part of your body has 3 hit points that it can freely sacrifice with no danger to yourself. But once that 3 is gone, your HP is opened up and you can get maimed. So, heavier armors will have a higher defense stat, but they will have tags that balance them out. So if you have plate mail, right, you might have 6 armor in all your spots, but you'll also have clumsy or noisy or restricted. And those are not always bad things to have, but your tags work against you the same way they work for you. So if you're wearing plate mail, you've got restricted, you fall into the river, and your storyteller wants you to make a check for swimming out of the river, you're going to have a penalty on the difficulty due to your armor. And it's entirely up to you and the storyteller to figure out when tags apply. This is a little rocky at first, but once you get going, it gets very intuitive. It's very easy. So, that is the entire character sheet, the entire character process, is thinking of 6 words and listing your equipment. It's very, very quick. It's very, very easy. You can make any character you can think of, and you can tailor them specifically to the setting that they're in. So I won't belabor the points I made in the introduction, just go watch that. But the last thing we need to talk about is the deck. So before you play the game, once all the characters are made, once everyone's at the table, every session, every player and the storyteller are going to submit 10 words. This could be any word. They could all be elephant. Nobody gets to see your words. They just get shuffled into a list, into a deck. We assume that you're putting them on note cards and then shuffling the note cards. So you've got this big stack of words. And anytime somebody fully succeeds at a skill check or gets the last hit on an enemy, they get to draw a word from the deck. These words, when used, are consumed. So you discard them. But the deck should be generated every game, and it should have words from everyone at the table. This allows both the players and the storyteller to kind of communicate what they want to see in that session. And that could be silly or it could be serious. It could help your abilities or it could be completely random. And because it's shuffled, because it's random what you get out of the pile, if one guy puts all elephants, you might draw the elephant. And then you have to figure out how to use arrow and elephant volley to do something cool in the ability, in the game. And this is kind of the core mechanic of Words of Power, is taking these unexpected circumstances and filtering them through the character that you made that does a cool thing. You figure out how to be an archer when all you've got is an elephant. And that is the role-playing bit that's super fun. So next time we will get into the actual specific mechanics of the game. This was just how to set up the game if you want to play. Alright, thanks for sticking with me till the end. Just a reminder that the game is still in development, and so the most current rules will not be in these videos. They will be on the website in the rulebook. You can also stop by the Discord to get up-to-date information and maybe participate in the upcoming weekly public games. If you'd like to be a playtester, make sure to DM me, because we need them badly. Have a great day.